My name is Kelly Clark and I'm doing my presentation on Irish leprechauns. The Irish legend goes that the leprechauns were first mentioned in myths in the 8th century, and it is believed that they were created from whenever water spirits and house fairies merged together, and there's a picture of the house fairy on the slide. And the Irish term Leithbrogan means shoemaker, which is why leprechauns are associated with shoes, and they're often called the cobblers of the fairies. They're believed to be fairies, but some folklore says that they're elves, and they're also associated with gold coins and magic purses that control their freedom, and pots of gold. And they're very mischievous whenever it comes to humans trying to get their gold. They like to play tricks on humans. And leprechauns can go by many different names depending on what region of Ireland you're in, which is also shown on the other picture in the slide. According to the folklore, there's many different descriptions of leprechauns that is very consistent throughout all history. They're normally dressed as 18th century cobblers, and they wear coats with big buttons and pockets so they can keep their magic coins in. Their pants go down to their knees, and they wear stockings that also go up to their knees. They have large shoes, but they fit their tiny feet that have large silver buckles on them, and they always wear a leather apron like the cobbler does. And he always wears a three-cornered hat or a sleeping hat that can be red or green. And he may or may not have a beard, and if he doesn't have a pipe in his mouth, he usually has a beer at his side because they like to drink a lot. And they're always male, they're never female, and some believe that they are deformed children of fairies, because how can leprechauns exist if there are no females? They're found in Ireland, usually under trees, working on a single shoe, never two shoes at the same time, and they're usually found with their treasure as they want to, or they're not found with their treasure, sorry, because they want to keep it hidden in case, in the rare event, they are captured by a human. They can hide their treasure in various places, like underneath the rainbow is a common hiding spot for them. And the picture shown is hard to find a picture without leprechauns with their treasure, because many people think that it's right there with them at all times, but that's not the case. And as with many fairies, there is sounds associated with them. So the sound that is associated with leprechauns is a tapping sound of a cobbler hammer nailing in nail to the shoe. And some interactions with leprechauns. According to P.J. O'Hare in 1989, there was a sighting of a leprechaun at his bar. He heard a scream coming from a well, and whenever he was there, he just saw clothing of a leprechaun, which can be displayed in his bar. And then another account of a leprechaun, according to Spirits, Fairies, Leprechauns, and Goblins, written by Claire Rose. A man was walking in the forest one day and captured a leprechaun, and in order for his freedom, the leprechaun told him where to find his treasure, and he pointed out the bush that the leprechaun kept his treasure, and he needed a shovel, but the man didn't have a shovel at the time, so he let the leprechaun go, tagged the bush, but whenever he came back to get the shovel, all of the trees and bushes in the forest were tagged, so the leprechaun had played a trick on the man so he couldn't find the treasure. The American perception of the leprechaun is much different than Irish folklore. For example, we have Lucky the leprechaun, who is the character from General Mills for the cereal Lucky Charms. He's always outsmarted by the kids, and that's hardly ever the case in the legends. And then we have the Fighting Irish Leprechaun, and then the Leprechaun movie, where a man steals the leprechaun's treasure, and the leprechaun comes back to try to get his treasure back and kills a lot of people, which is not true according to the legends. So how did the legend of the leprechaun really begin? I think that it could be from leprechaunism or Donahue syndrome. Back in the 8th century, not much was known about medicine and different diseases, and there is a congenital genetic disorder involving the insulin receptor gene, the INSR gene. Proteins cannot function properly on the cell membrane, so the sugar cannot be taken out of the blood. So that causes a variety of symptoms in children, including excess body hair, dark thick skin folds, bulging eyes, thick lips, upturned nostrils, muscular atrophy, low-set ears, enlargement of the nipples and genitalia, kidneys and hearts, and the failure to thrive, which is when children don't meet the standard growth curve. And there's an example of a child with leprechaunism on the slide. And many children do not live past the age of 2. However, in medical advancements, there is a young girl from Bilbao, Spain. Her name is Maylan, and she's 8 years old. She's been doing treatments and is on a special diet, and she's only the 3rd person. She's only one of 3 people in the entire world right now to have it. She's the only person in Europe to have Donahue syndrome, and one of only 50 cases ever reported. There's no cure for this genetic disorder, and her treatment is a hormone treatment. And by doing this, she has greatly expanded her life expectancy.